Hello again everyone. So in this video we'll see how you can create an Indian passport renewal online application form. But before that you need to create your BLS account. If you haven't done so, you can go on to our previous video. The link for the same has been mentioned in the description. So once the account has been created, this page will be open. Over here you need to click on the first one, apply for ordinary passport, and then from here you can select the reason. So applying for reissue of passport, I am renewing the passport, and then the reissue reason. So I have selected validity expired within 3 years. So whichever reason applies to you, you can click on that. Next, type of application, that is normal. For emergency you can select Tatkal, and then type of passport booklet, that is 36 pages. Next, here it is given name. Given name is basically your first name as per your passport. Similarly with the surname as per passport, if no surname is mentioned on your passport, you can leave that blank. Next is gender, male or female. Next, if you have any other names, yes or no. And if you have changed your name, yes or no. If you have changed, let's say, you can click yes and then further fill out the details, otherwise no. Next, date of birth. The format here is date, month, year. You can also choose the calendar to select the date. I just typed it in. And next, the place of birth. Please mention that as per your passport. So here is a sample. If you can see on the first page of your passport, the third last option is birthplace. So you can see from there and write exactly on the online application. Next, is your place of birth out of India? You can select no, and then the state and district. Once it is done, we move to the marital status. So if you're single, married, separated, whichever option applies to you, you can select that. And citizen of India by birth if you are born in India. PAN and voter ID are not mandatory that you need to write, so you can leave that, skip that option. And next you can move on to employment type. Whichever applies to you, select that. I have selected self-employed here. And education qualification is the highest education you need to mention. Next, if your spouse or parent is government servant, yes or no. Next, non-ECR category, usually it's yes, but if you're not sure, you can click here just beside yes, and you can see there are 15 points. If you fall under any of these categories, the option will be yes. So visible distinguished mark is basically the birthmarks. If you have any, you can mention, otherwise leave it blank. Same with Aadhaar number. If you have Aadhaar card, you can mention your Aadhaar card number, otherwise leave it blank. Just in case if you mention it, then you need to click yes. You need to click I agree and then yes. Otherwise you can leave it blank and then click save. Once you saved it, here you can see your application has been allotted by a reference number and your application has been saved. Once it is done, you can click next. And here you need to fill out the family details. So father's name is same as per the passport. If there is no surname, leave it blank. And then same with mother's name, first name and last name. And legal guardian's name is usually for the minors. If you in marital status, if you clicked married, then you might have to write over, you need to write spouse name over here. Next, click save and then click on next. Okay, and here you need to mention your address details. So is your passport printable address out of India? So if you are a permanent resident of Canada, you can mention here the Canadian address and then click yes. Okay, but if you are on a temporary status, let's say work permit, study permit or a visitor visa, you have to click no, and then you have to mention your Indian address. Most probably same as passport, because you need to add the address proofs later. So right now I'm assuming that you are a permanent resident of Canada, and therefore I have selected yes. Select the country from the drop down, that's Canada. Here you can mention your address. Maybe you can mention the address same as per your driver's license, because you need to add the proofs for the same. And zip code is basically the postal code. Here the phone number, you need to mention the Canadian phone number and the email address. On this email address you will be receiving the notifications from the BLS, so just make sure that the one you're writing is the correct email address. Next is your other address out of India. Here, irrespective of you are in Canada or India, if you are a permanent resident or on a temporary status, you will click no and write your Indian address. So you can write your complete address, select state, district. Police station is the police station nearest your Indian residential address. So whichever applies to you, you can select from the drop down, and whichever police station is nearest to you, you can click on that. Next, the pin code, same, yeah, and then phone number. Here you can mention the Indian phone number. And once everything is done, click on save and then next. Yeah, so yeah, I think it's all good, and then you can click next. And over here, yes, I am eligible for printing the specified address. Emergency contact details, you can mention, if you want, you can mention the Indian contact details, name and address, and then Indian phone number. Email and telephone numbers are not mandatory, so you can leave it blank, but if you want to write, you can definitely write that. And then click on save. Once it is saved, click next. So here it asks us to write the passport details, so you can write the passport number of your current passport, the place of issue as per the passport, date of issue as per your passport. So again, a calendar appears, so you can again choose it from the calendar or can type it in. Same with the date of expiry. So yeah, this once, okay, I'm rewriting the date of issue again, and then I am moving on to the date of expiry. Once it is done, we move on to the file number. I'll just show you how you can check the file number. So it's on the last page of your passport. Yeah, there we go. So as you can see on the last page on the passport, father's, mother's name, where that is written at the bottom, it says file number. So you can see the file number from there and then write it on your online application. On the first page, you can see passport number, everything is written on the first page, passport number. At the bottom, you can see date of issue, date of expiry, place of issue. Same on the last page, file number, father's name, mother's name, everything. So basically all the details that you will be writing on your Indian passport renewal application, everything is mentioned on the first and the last page of your passport. Once file number is written, you can the question is about the diplomatic passport and if you have applied your passport or no. If no, you can select details not available and no. Then click on save, next, and here we go with the other details. So this page is all about if you have any criminal record, if you have any offense, if you have been to the court, if you were indulged in any illegal activity, or if your passport was refused, if you have been deported from any country, if you have ever surrendered your Indian passport, all that thing. If anything applies to you, you can click yes, otherwise simply select no, click on save and then next. So here we go on the final page of the passport. So this is how your passport will look like. Just make sure that everything written here is correct as per the passport, because this is how your information will be printed on your new passport. If everything is good, click on next and then click OK. So here again we go on to the applicant form summary. So whatever you have mentioned earlier, everything is written on here. Once again, you can double check everything if everything is all correct. If in case there is any little error or anything minor error, your application will be returned back to you. So just make sure everything is all correct, and if everything is correct, click on I agree and write the city where you are in. Just in case if you are in Vancouver, you can write Vancouver and click submit. If let's say you are in Calgary, you can write Calgary and then click submit. And again a pop-up appears, you can click yes, all details are correct. And once it is done, your application has been submitted. So here you can see it says that the application has been submitted and that your application reference number is this. So application reference number is also known as ARN number. We will talk about this in the next video, so you can note that down and then you can click on home. Once you click on home, this page appears and at the bottom you can see your application. So once you are here, where it says select on the left side, you can click on the small circle there and then click on the print application form. Once you are here, it shows you the same application, and then from either top or bottom you can click on the option print, and then you can print the copy of it. And yeah, that is it about the online application form. And what we need to do afterwards, this all has been discussed in the next video about all the checklist and everything. So the link for the same has been mentioned in the description.